Hello, everybody, and welcome. Welcome to another very special episode of the Killer Author Club. We are always extra excited to celebrate one of our own. And tonight we are celebrating Killer Kimberly Belle because she has her new book come out.
Stop it.
We found a new feature, everybody. And so we're going to do fireworks whenever we can tonight. But we have tons of questions and lots of things to ask Kimberly tonight. So grab your cocktail, drop your questions into the chat, and we will see you on the other side.
Thought you really loved me, guess I was wrong. Thought you'd never leave me, guess I was dumb. Waited like forever to be your plus one, but I guess you were done.
Hello to all our new members and to our original members who have joined us on Facebook or Instagram or YouTube or wherever you're watching. We are so glad to have you here. I'm Killer Heather Goodenkoff, and with me is Killer Kimberly Belle and Killer Kara Ruda. We are so excited to be welcoming our Killer Kimberly Belle to the club as our guest tonight. We'll be talking all things the Paris Widow and all things killing, of the fictional kind, of course. So make sure you drop your questions for Kimberly in the comments, and we will be scouring them to ask as many questions of our special guests that we can. And note that we are all dressed in our best French gear. So welcome. Yeah. So Kara, can you please introduce our very special guest tonight?
Heather, I would. This is a little oversized, so my we is moving around a lot. Okay, anyway, Kimberly Belle is a USA Today and internationally best-selling author with over 1 million copies sold worldwide. Titles include The Paris Widow, The Marriage Lie, a Goodreads Choice Awards, semi-finalist for Best Mystery and Thriller, and the co-authored #1 Audible original Young Rich Widows. Kimberly's novels have been optioned for film and television, selected by Library Reads and Amazon and Apple Books editors as Best Books of the Month, and the International Thriller Writer as nominee for Best Book of the Year. She divides her time between Atlanta and Amsterdam. Congratulations, Kimberly, and welcome.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be sitting on the other side tonight.
I know. It's a hot seat, so just, we'll try to take it easy on you, but, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough.
Okay. Yeah, we're not gonna go too easy on you. Because you're a founding member doesn't mean we're going to go easy on you.
I'm a little scared.
It's actually tougher. I think Heather and I have decided that we're going to, that's going to just going to have to be. Okay, we're going to dive into the book in great detail in a minute. But for now, can you give us the elevator pitch for The Paris Widow?
I would love to. So The Paris Widow is about Stella and Adam. They are a married couple on the trip of a lifetime. They have just made a 3-week whirlwind tour through Europe and are on the very last day about to head back to the airport for the flight home when there is an explosion in the cafe where Adam is sitting. And in the coming days, and the chaos and the heartbreak and looking for Adam, who has just disappeared into thin air, the police tell her that he is not just one of the victims, but the target of the explosion.
So good. So good. Love it. We can't wait to talk more about it. And you guys keep dropping questions into the comments, please. But first, of course, we need to introduce our episode's special drink. Heather?
Yeah, so the Killers, we love our cocktails and mocktails and tasty drinks. So every episode we ask our killer guests to come with their favorite and share the recipes for. And tonight's drink from Kimberly is the French 75, and we have the recipe here for you. It looks so good. Kimberly, can you tell us why you chose this drink?
Well, French 75, of course. And actually, I love these. A friend of mine made it for me the first time. I'm not a gin drinker, so I do mine with vodka, which I believe officially is called a French 76. I could be wrong. Don't quote me on that. But it's vodka, champagne, lemon juice, a teeny weeny bit of simple syrup. I like mine a little on the tart side. And when you're really fancy, you put like a lemon wedge swirly thing in the drink. But I'm not that fancy tonight.
Oh, it looks so good.
Impressed
Looks
you
so
made
good.
it.
So cheers to you, Kimberly. Your book comes out next week, and so we're cheering you tonight for that. Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, 1 week from tonight, from today.
Yeah,
So
so
the
much
recipe.
confused and thought it was today. A little premature celebration, but I'll celebrate again in a week, I promise.
I love it.
Yes. And so the recipe for the French 75 will be on our website under the Killer Cocktail tab, along with all the other recipes for the cocktails of our past guests. So cheers.
Cheers.
All right, you guys, the Killers and I started the Killer Author Club 2 years ago, I can't believe it, so that readers like you can interact with some of the best suspense and thriller authors in the business. Our summer-fall lineup includes superstars like Rachel Hazel Hall, Sandra Block, CJ Fox, Jeff Deaver, and Isabel Maldonado, and so many more. Dates, times, past episodes, and much more can be found on killerauthorclub.com. And we did want to do a special shout out tonight because the Book Reporter, a newsletter you should subscribe to if you don't, that has all the great facts about all the books each week that come out and bets on and all these great sections. They've included us now in their weekly roundup of online virtual events. So we're so proud to be included, and thank you for including the Killer Author Club. And you guys check out the Book Reporter if you haven't.
Yeah.
Okay.
No.
Back to The Paris Widow. The Nerd Daily just named The Paris Widow one of 16 new book releases to pick up in June. Congratulations, Kimberly. Alex Fenley said The Paris Widow takes you on a twist-filled journey from the twinkling lights of the Eiffel Tower to the seedy alleyways of the 19th arrondissement and into the secrets lurking behind a seemingly idyllic marriage. Kimberly Belle has crafted the perfect thriller. Magnifique. This is awesome. Jean Kwok, New York Times bestselling author, The Leftover Woman, says, this book is a must-read for those seeking an enthralling escape into a world where danger and intrigue intersect with the enduring echoes of past secrets. Belle has crafted an irresistible page-turner that keeps you hooked from the first page until the very end. And Frida McFadden, New York Times bestselling author of The Housemaid, said, I was glued to the pages of The Paris Widow. I couldn't stop reading and was blown away by the twists and turns. That's hard to do with Frida. One of my favorite reads this year. So congratulations, Kimberly.
Thank you.
Hey, so much great buzz.
No, I know, really great. So, all right, here's what we need to know from you. You know, this is the big killer question. Your question this evening is, who do you kill?
Oh gosh, how to choose. I tend to kill the husbands, don't I? This
Oh,
certainly starts out with a bang that takes Stella's husband. No, but I like to kill people who maybe you wouldn't be expecting to be killed. I want the readers to maybe be sad that they're killed, right? And I tend to do it like kind of right away. Start out the story with the death.
Yeah, it starts with a bang. Literally, it was. I mean, it's like the first few pages, and I was like, "Wow, here we go, Kimberly, so good."
Yeah, well, thanks.
So good. So yeah, Stella and Adam, they're at first glance, they just seem like the all-American couple. They're enjoying a trip abroad. Adam is a loving husband and brother and uncle. But as we read, we kind of realize we don't really know Adam as well as we think we do. And even as we get to know Stella, we too also learn that she has this past. And so tell us, where did this duo come from? How did you come up with Adam and Stella?
Well, you know, it's funny, if you've read any of my other books, I tend to always circle around these married couples, or at least people in a relationship. And I don't really know where that comes from exactly always, because I've been married for a really long time. I don't think that my husband is harboring any crazy secrets. I mean, I could be wrong. But I think it's just something about that relationship and even if you're not married and you've never been married, I think everybody can put themselves in that position of what it would be like if you wake up one day and discover that the person that you've been sharing your bed and your home with has this past that they maybe haven't told you about. And at the same time, I think everybody does have things in their past that they're maybe not the most proud about, decisions they've made, roads that they've taken that they maybe have some regrets about. So I always kind of start from that when I'm coming up with a story. And Adam and Stella, they really are in love, but they both have something that they're keeping from the other that is going to come out in this book.
And it does so good. Just you kind of leave these breadcrumbs and then slowly reveal what each of these characters do. And in some ways it makes us love them even more.
Yeah.
And
well, I think flaws are good in a character. They're actually good in a person too. I think it's not so much the flaw. I mean, there are maybe some flaws that might seem like they're unforgivable, but I think it's, both Stella and Adam have done these things that they're very sorry about, and they have, tried to change, and they want to change, and their feelings for each other are sincere. So,
and that makes us want to keep reading, right?
Yeah.
Because you can feel that about the characters.
And you're kind of rooting for them, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, so you jet set around the world with the Paris Widow. How fun is that? Paris, Spain, Luxembourg, Malta, Amsterdam. So what made you decide to set the novel primarily in Paris?
Okay, well, so I have been pitching, because I've been with the same publisher for a bunch of books now, and I'm always pitching stories set overseas. And every time they reel me back in and they're like, we really like you in the South. Your books, you have that Southern voice, and I do write most of my books before this one were set in the South. And even Paris Widow, Stella and Adam live in Atlanta. So, I still have that tie to the Southern United States. But, for me, it just seems like a given that I would want to write a book. And this is what I keep telling my editor is like, this is my life. I know this. I want to travel in my books. And it doesn't have to be, a European person. It can be an American who goes there on vacation, expats who move there. So finally I pitched this story. I mean, they shot down a bunch of different stories. Finally, I pitched one that they were like, awesome, we love it. I said, there's going to be an explosion. The husband disappears, blah, blah, blah. And it's set in Amsterdam. And they were like, well, Amsterdam is maybe a little too niche. How about Paris? Paris is so hot right now and everybody loves Paris. And I'm like, well, that's a very different country, but okay, I like Paris too. So that's how we ended up in Paris. But, I think this whole international thing, hopefully they'll let me do a lot more because I'm really enjoying the travel and new setting and glamour and all that stuff with the international. I'm really hoping they'll let me keep going.
Yeah.
I bet they do.
Yeah, and you do it so well. I mean, it feels well, and you do. It feels like you really know these locations, and because you are a world traveler, Amsterdam is very special. You had some big news about Amsterdam recently. Do you want to share?
I do. So
okay.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Yeah.
I am officially a Dutch citizen now. So I have two passports, or I don't have two passports yet, but I will have two passports. I still have to apply for my Dutch one, but
cannot make it work.
I don't know what that is, but it's fun. Yeah. So I'm officially Dutch and American.
Yeah, that's cool. And you include a lot of some, very recognizable places from Amsterdam in the book. What did you choose? What are some of the places that, if any of us are lucky enough to go visit Amsterdam, that we might see in the book and in Amsterdam if we get a chance to visit?
Yeah. So I set a whole scene in this little courtyard. It's in the middle of like the busiest part of Amsterdam. And you're on this main shopping street. It's a little alley side street off of the main shopping street, which is loud and there's music and there's people.
Mm-hmm.
And then you walk into this courtyard and it's completely quiet and very serene. And it's called the Begijnhof, which is like the Beguines were it was a religious group of women, and only women were allowed to live there. Since I think normal people can live there now.
Mm-hmm.
But it was only for women. It's got churches from like, I don't know, the 1400s, like way back. It's
Wow.
just so lovely. And I have Adam and Stella. This is a flashback chapter. Adam and Stella are sitting on a bench. You can actually go there and you can sit on that same bench and you can look out at the courtyard like they do. It's just a really special spot. So if you ever go to Amsterdam, make sure to check it out.
Aw,
Yeah, absolutely.
Someone's asking about the red light district. Not in this book. But there's lots of shenanigans there, so I'm sure I could come up with a story there.
Lots of material. Lots of material for that. Yeah.
So Colleen says she'll be in Amsterdam next Saturday.
Wow.
Colleen, go to the Bekijnhof. I'm dropping it in the comments now so you know how to spell it.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
that doesn't just roll off our tongues.
I
It
know.
also speaks the language to do
Yeah.
that.
And, you know, we know that you're a world traveler, you know, and you've been to lots of exotic locations, including your upcoming visit to Iowa. I mean, it's as exotic as you can get it. We're so
Well, I've never
excited
been
to
to
have-
Iowa.
Well,
I know,
good, good.
Here,
So,
I want to go to Iowa. I can't believe I'm not
Yeah.
coming.
I know we are going to set up a time because, you know, we will roll out the red carpet for you when for you, Kimberly, when you come next week. But Kara, when you come, we'll do a whole Killer Author Club thing, and
I know.
people in Iowa are so warm and welcoming. It would be a lot of fun.
Oh,
But
yeah.
do you have a favorite travel destination that you've been, Kimberly? Or is there a destination where you've like had major disasters?
Have I had a disaster?
Kind of like,
I have to think about the disaster part, but my favorite, I mean, besides Amsterdam, but I don't know if that's a travel destination because we live there part-time. So it's, kind of home. But I go every winter to a Caribbean island called Saint Bart's, which is French, more France. And I write there and hike and hang out. And that's actually one of my favorite spots on the planet.
Yeah, sounds amazing.
I
Sounds
like
amazing.
following you on Instagram during that time too, and just being
Yeah.
jealous the whole time.
Yeah, we choose the crappiest weather month, February, and then we go.
Right.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Sounds
Yeah.
pretty nice too.
Perfect.
Okay,
It
this is great. The research of the Paris widow must have been extensive. The legal system in Paris, embassies, consulates, and Adam has a career in dealing with the antiquities and comes across some high-powered players in the shadowy business. So how much research did this take? I mean, did you know about a lot of this, or did it take a lot?
Well, I knew nothing about like the red tape in France and Paris, and the police forces there are multiples. It's super complicated, and I'm pretty sure I made some mistakes. So if I did, and you know them, just keep on flipping the page. Because it's very complicated. And I actually even included a line in that Stella says something like, I don't even know who to call because it's too complicated. There are too many people, too many different police forces. But the most interesting and extensive research I did was into the blood antiquities market and the shenanigans. So the blood antiquities are what they call like these historical, antiquities that they are pulling out of people. Criminals are like pulling out of temples, churches, important historical sites, mostly in war-torn countries. That's how they get away with it. They smuggle them over international borders and they sell them to the highest bidders. And often the highest bidders are legit buyers, like private collectors, museums, galleries. I mean, these really, you know, important but stolen pieces are ending up in galleries and world famous museums that you and I have all heard of. But just because there's a lot of gray area, there's a lot of false paperwork, there's a lot of paying off people at the border. It's just, it was kind of shocking to me and also fascinating. As soon as I landed on that, as part of Adam's career, I was like, oh, here we go. This is going to be good.
Yeah.
Very cool. Well, and you mentioned several pieces, and I wondered if those, you know, are real items that you came across in your research. Like there was a ring and there's some other things. Are those real pieces of art that
the ring was a real thing?
Yeah.
And that is, there's a guy in Holland, his name is Arthur Brandt, Brandt. Google him, he's fascinating. He's written books, but he calls himself, or he's been dubbed, I guess, the Indiana Jones of the art world, because he is like my character Kat, who is modeled after him. You know, his whole like job, existence, you know, purpose is to track down these stolen art items, or, you know, like the ring, which was an Oscar Wilde. It belonged to Oscar Wilde. He gave it to someone. It was inscripted with like these initials that meant something. And that was like a real piece. And this Arthur guy actually found it and returned it to the Oscar Wilde Foundation. And there were other pieces that I used, that I put in the book too, that were things that he actually tracked down.
And are these like museums and like legit organizations that purchase this stolen stuff? Like, do they get a fine or do they get in trouble at all? Like, it just seems so wrong.
There have been a bunch that, like, once they are able to prove that that piece was gained, you know, illegally somehow, that they return them. They have to return them.
Okay.
I don't know if they ever got fined for it. It's, you know,
it seems like, oh gosh, Oscar Wilde's ring just showed up. Well, wait a minute. Like, how did how did it show up? And like, it just seems like that. I don't know.
Yeah. Like I said, lots of shenanigans going on.
Yeah. And you mentioned how Stella, you know, when she was with the consulate or whatever, saying, I don't know who to call, but she really is an independent woman who's trying to figure out things on her own. She kind of reminded me of, you know, from the Da Vinci Code, going across, you know, trying the city, following these clues in order to find out what happened to her husband. Did you know what clues you wanted to sprinkle throughout? I think I know the answer to this. I think Kira and I both know the answer to this.
We know.
I want to make sure. Did you know what clues you were going to sprinkle throughout, and what characters they were going to meet she was going to meet along the way as you wrote?
Yes, I did. Shocking, I know. No.
Yeah.
I plot everything out in advance.
Yeah.
The only thing, so I always, you know, plot pretty extensively in advance, but there are always some surprises along the way. And one of the surprises in this book was that the flashback chapters, which are the chapters that happen outside of Paris, so in Amsterdam, Malta, Luxembourg, there are, I don't know, 6 or 7 of them. I had originally in my outline thought those were going to be from Stella's point of view. And then I went back and changed them from Adam's point of view, because I felt like we needed a little, you know, I mean, he like disappears on page 7? So
he's gone. He's gone.
So we needed a little more from him in terms of, you know, what he's thinking, what his maybe motivations, a little bit of his backstory. So I ended up rewriting those chapters from his point of view. But that was the big change. But I knew in those chapters, because every single one of those chapters answers a question that Stella has been dealing with, or gives her information that she's been searching for. So I knew what that was going to be.
Yeah, of course you did.
Yeah.
Makes it a lot easier to write. I'm just saying.
We've
Yeah.
heard that. Yeah, I know.
Still
makes a
working
lot
on
of
it. I'm trying it. Yeah.
makes a lot of
I'm seeing the benefits, Kimberly. So
sense.
it's good. Plotting has its place for sure. But we can't move on in the show until we talk a little bit more about the rich widows. You've been all over the place, you and the widows. And I just saw how Ash and Alana from the very popular, wildly popular podcast Morbid featured you guys on their Weirdos audiobook club.
Yeah, their podcast. Yeah, so they had an episode, but they read us for their Weirdos book club. I think that's what they call it. But
yeah.
Their listeners are called the Weirdos.
Yeah.
They're proud of it too.
Yeah.
And that they had us on an episode. I think it was the one on the 31st. So what was that, 4 or 5 days ago. But I cried when I listened to it. They were so amazing and talking about their love of the characters. I texted my co-authors. I was like, if you guys need a hype woman, go listen to this podcast right now, because they were it was amazing to hear the other people talking, readers talking about how much they love the story and the characters and the friendships. And it was super.
That is super cool. Well, we'll drop that link. We can drop that link into the comments as well. So that will, so people can go find it and check it out. So, and oh my goodness, I think it's that time. I think we have to move on. I hate it because there's so much more to talk about, Kimberly.
I know.
But readers will have the chance next week to pick up the book. Read it, and then come back and we can, chat about it in the Killer Author Club a little bit more.
Love it.
Absolutely.
Love it.
Yeah. So I think we're ready for the Killer giveaway, because Kimberly is giving away 3 copies of The Paris Widow tonight. And and this is for viewers anywhere in the world. Is that right?
Worldwide.
Worldwide giveaway, which is amazing. So 3 copies. It doesn't matter if you're watching us on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. We scour the comments everywhere we stream, but please make sure you shout out where you're from, because we do like to know that. But the question is, where does Kimberly divide her time? Which 2 cities that begin with the letter A? Atlanta and... So drop that answer into the comments, and you might just win a chance, or have a chance to win a copy of the Paris Widow.
Love it. All right, can I quick say this? Shelley asked, I don't know Audible, so I'm hoping the second book is coming out. It is. It just has to be out in Audible for a whole year, so it'll be next spring by the time the print book comes out. But yes, it's definitely.
And Young Rich Widows is already out, both in Audible form and in print form.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And I forgot, you guys, I have a new book that just came out for pre-order. I forgot to even talk about
it. Can you tell us about it?
Yeah, it's... I not get it to go. Okay, anyway, it's called The Second Mrs. Strom, and it's a sequel to Best Day Ever, and it just came up for pre-order last week. So if you guys are interested, I'm sure I can find, I don't know how to do that, but Kimberly maybe can find the link, and I'll send it to her. So
I can for sure find the link.
I'm so excited. I love Best Day Ever.
Me,
I love that book. And Creepy Paul.
Creepy Paul
is back. So
just when we never thought that he would be back, he got to come back. So yeah, I'm excited too. So anyway, thanks for letting me share that.
Yeah.
I don't have the full script printed up. That's fine. I can wing this. Okay. So anyway, but it's the Killer bookseller right now, right? Yes.
Yes.
All right, you guys, the Killers love indies, and we want to support them in any way we can. That's why every author gets to tell us their favorite. And Kimberly has chosen 2 favorite indies tonight: Foxtail Bookshop in Woodstock, Georgia, and Acapella Books in Atlanta. Kimberly, can you tell us why these stores are so special to you?
Of course. So like you said, I think you said they're both, oh gosh, that's a weird link that's coming through. I'm sorry about that. I'll do that again in just a second. Let me finish this. So 2 bookstores in Atlanta. Atlanta is, if you guys know Atlanta at all, it's a very large city. Woodstock is, Foxtail is in Woodstock, which is a suburb that's a bit north of the city. They're a lovely, Heather's been there. They're a lovely store. They are, so nice, and they always have the greatest recommendations. So if you're ever up that way, definitely check them out. And then there's in Atlanta, Self Acapella Bookstore, and they're going to be selling my books at my event on the 10th here in Atlanta. So if you want a signed copy, reach out to Acapella. They can make sure you get one.
Very exciting. Very exciting. And so as much as we'd love to invite every amazing killer author to be featured on our show, there is only 3 of us, but we can't let tonight go by without celebrating a special author with a brand new book. So tonight we are talking about Follow Her Down by Victoria Helen Stone. And when a woman's ex is found dead in the same forest where her sister went missing decades before, she is forced to accept there may have been more to her sister's murder than she wanted to believe. Now the traumas of the past are reemerging. So is the truth. Elisa's greatest fear now is who will survive it. And Victoria is giving away 2 copies to U.S. readers. So if this book, Follow Her Down, sounds interesting to you, make sure you drop a comment about it, and you may be a lucky winner. We'll also drop a link to that book as well.
Yay. And as you guys know, membership has its privileges. So if you're on Facebook, check out our private members only group called the Killer Author Clubhouse. This is a place for really hardcore killers. See, we're the killers. We're not the weirdos. I like that. Where we share book recs, have all sorts of murderous fun, and full giveaways. Every episode, we choose a name from the Killer Author Clubhouse hat to win a piece of Killer Author Club swag. T-shirts, mugs, candles, totes, hats, all of which can be found at killerauthorclub.com should you like to purchase any. Tonight's winner is Lou Waters. Lou, please send one of us killers your address, and we'll send some Killer Author swag your way. Congratulations.
Yes. And you know what? It's that time of the night. Kimberly, we are thrilled to announce that you have once again survived the Killer Author Club. Whew, you did it. Congratulations.
Hearing you with the badge.
Yeah. Congratulations. And we're so happy for you, so excited. And we know everybody's going to just love this book like they have all your others. So congratulations.
Yeah,
thank you. This was fun.
Yeah.
I don't even know how to say anything really good in French, but oui. Yeah, we can't wait for it to come out. In fact, some of us were excited and thought it was out right now, but it's almost. Okay. Anyway, you guys, thank you so much for being here, Kimberly. That does it for tonight's episode. Thanks to everybody, all you guys who tuned in, you killers, all of you. We'll be back again in 2 weeks on June 18th at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific with the always awesome Mary McKinnon and her fabulous new thriller, Only One Survives. In the meantime, please find us wasting entirely too much time on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and TikTok. And for all the information you need about times, upcoming schedules, past episodes, all of the killer information, surf to killerauthorclub.com. Thanks for tuning in. Good night, everybody.
Bye, everyone.
I guess I'm a killer.